Welcome. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can align your goals for 2025 with your gifts and superpowers so that you can create what I like to call an impact action plan. Now, that's something that you're going to be able to use throughout 2025 to make the greatest impact you can. You won't want to miss out on this video and how it can really change 2025 to be the best year ever. So stick around to the end because I also want to cover some cool things that we're up to. Now, with January right around the corner, and maybe you're watching this in January, a lot of us are thinking about our New Year's resolutions and what we want out of 2025. And if you want to make 2025 the best year ever, then you need to have an impact plan. So in this video, I'm going to take you through 8 steps that you can do to create that sort of a plan. Now, it's going to be packed with tons of high-value principles that I would teach you if I were mentoring you or coaching you one-on-one. There's also going to be a bunch of action items that you can implement to make sure that it is the most impactful impact plan for 2025. So before we dive into that, let me just start by asking a few questions to get you thinking. Have you ever started the year with some sort of a grand plan only to find yourself off course by February? Have you ever noticed how some people seem to just achieve their dreams with ease, just remarkable ease, while others struggle despite it seems like they're working twice as hard? Well, what if I told you that the difference isn't about effort or luck, but about how well your goals align to your natural gifts and superpowers? What if this year, instead of setting goals, you align them with your unique gifts and superpowers that you possess within you already? And here's something else to think about that might just change the way you look at it. What if your biggest achievements for 2025, they're not just from pushing harder, but from leaning into those superpowers that you have? Imagine ending 2025 knowing that you didn't just meet your goals, but you made a lasting impact while staying true to what your purpose is. Now, my name is Talbert. I'm the founder and author of a book that's called The Giver Method that's now available on Amazon, best-selling book on Amazon. And if you're preparing for 2025, any sort of resolutions, plans, goals, and you want to make it the most impactful ever, I highly recommend you go on Amazon, get a copy of the book. You can have it within a couple days and start utilizing it immediately, start making the best of what it is that you're doing. Now, today I want to share how you create that impact plan, and harnessing those gifts and superpowers, utilizing things from the Giver Method. Now, before we dive in, if you are new here, please make sure that you hit subscribe, ring that bell for notifications so that you don't miss out on any of this high-valued content about unleashing your gifts and superpowers and creating more meaningful impact. Now, of course, you can always get the book off Amazon. You can also find us on TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all those places. Like I said, subscribe here. You can also find us at thegivermethod.com, where you can find more details about how we help people, services, speaking on stages or being on podcasts, anything along those lines. So biggest thing, though, is if you're ready to discover your gifts and create that meaningful impact in relationships, then going to these places and following me in these places or getting the book it's going to show you how to do that. Now, your gifts and superpowers, they aren't random. They're tools for creating meaningful impact. And the Giver Method, which covers, it's an acronym that's all designed about helping people to discover and develop their gifts and superpowers, and creates that framework for aligning them with how you then engage and interact with people to create more value for them. And this is great because it's going to help you to align your goals to make 2025 impactful. Now, as I give you different steps that you can do or principles that you could do, I'm also going to give you those action items I mentioned, and I recommend you grab a piece of paper, open up a note, jot down your thoughts as we go so that you can start to put those into motion immediately. Because it's great you're watching the video and it's going to have tons of value for you, but where the real value comes in is when you start to actually implement those things and start putting them into an action plan that you can start to execute throughout the year. So with that in mind, let's just dive into what these steps are to create that 2025 impact plan using the Giver Method as a framework for that. And so the first thing that you want to do, step one, first thing that you want to do is that you want to define your core gifts and superpowers. Your core gifts and superpowers are the essence of what makes you unique. These are natural talents and passions and skills that you excel at, effortlessly, and that bring you joy and fulfillment and don't deplete you. Identifying them is a journey of self-discovery where you uncover what energizes you and what others consistently value in you. These gifts aren't about what you do well, they're about what makes you feel authentic. They align with your purpose and they allow you to make meaningful contributions to others. And when you define your core gifts and superpowers, you create a foundation for aligning actions with what truly matters to you. And so what you do is you begin with reflection and you think about the moments when you feel like you're in that flow state. times where you just lose track of time because they were so engaging to you. What were you doing? What skills were you using? Maybe think about the compliments that you get from trusted people that you know, the people who you know really well, that they say, hey, here's what I love about it, or here's what I love that you're doing. Those compliments, like that perspective can reveal gifts you might not be fully realizing or recognizing that you have. And then what you want to do is start to develop a gift, inventory where you categorize your talents into practical areas that you could utilize for impact. For instance, if you're great at problem solving, think about situations where you've used that skill to create positive outcomes. As you do these types of things, you create this clarity that guides your decisions on how to apply your gifts and superpowers more intentionally. So you do things like, there's a lot of reflection, scheduled times where you block out times where you can journal out about activities that energize you and the feedback you receive from others about your strengths. You create a gift journal that's dedicated to where you record those moments, how you felt, where you were at your, when you were at your best. And then look for the feedback from those around you, and then map the gifts and superpowers and how they create that impact. Defining your gifts and superpowers helps you focus your energy on what just naturally creates the most impact. It reduces the frustration of working against your nature and builds confidence as you recognize those unique contributions. Knowing your gifts is the foundation for, a fulfilling and impactful life. Now, step 2 is that you want to create your impact vision. Your impact vision is a clear and inspiring picture of, the change that you're trying to create. It's going to connect those gifts and superpowers to specific needs in the world, in your community, within your friends and family, guiding your efforts towards those meaningful contributions. It's not just about personal achievement in any way, it's about making a positive difference for others while staying true to yourself. An impact vision serves as a compass for your actions, and it helps you to just prioritize what matters and aligns your daily choices with a bigger picture. And by articulating your vision, you create a roadmap for turning your gifts and superpowers into just that sustaining impact. And so start by just identifying areas where your gifts and superpowers can intersect within life. Where is there a need? Where is that gap that you care about? This could be in your workplace or community or in some sort of a personal relationship. And then create an actual written statement describing what you aim to achieve and why it matters. And then you develop this sort of an impact map where you can visualize how your gifts and superpowers can influence different areas of your life, and break down maybe short-term and long-term goals that ensure each step, is building towards that broader vision. And so you want to write that vision statement, think about what the impact goals are, and then blueprint what the development might be, showing how your talents connect to outcomes in the key areas of your life. And then review. You have to review and reflect all the time. Maybe monthly, schedule a session where you review your progress and maybe refine your vision based off, the impact or the actions that you've seen so far. An impact vision keeps you aligned with your purpose, ensuring that you're not just busy and, doing these things, like you're effective. It provides clarity and direction and helps you to focus on the actions that are going to matter the most to you. And with a strong vision, you stay motivated even when things maybe seem challenging, knowing that your efforts are contributing to a greater cause. Now, the third step is that you want to design what's your value strategy. I talk a lot about, and in the book, we talk about creating vivid value, so clear and crisp that people can they see it, and it's something that they desire. Your value strategy is about intentionally applying your gifts and superpowers in a way that you create that meaningful and measurable benefits for others. It's a strategy that helps you just translate what those talents are into actions to, solve problems or meet their needs or inspire positive change in somebody. Value isn't just about effort, it's about the effectiveness of it. And a clear strategy ensures that your energy that you're putting into it is spent on contributions that will resonate with others and deliver real results to them. So what you want to do is you want to conduct maybe a value audit. And you want to look at your past activities where your efforts have you, made the most significant impact. And then identify the common elements of success and use them to shape your future actions. Start to create what that would look like. Experiment maybe with new ways to use your gifts, measuring, what are the outcomes, and then refining your approach as you go. And you want to develop a system to track the impact of your contributions. Look for feedback loops, or maybe some sort of a metric that shows you how your efforts are making a difference. This is going to help you to identify what works best and then focus your energy where it's most effective. And so you want to make sure that, once again, that you're tracking that and then reviewing it regularly so that you're analyzing what works and adjusting the strategy accordingly. Because a well-crafted value strategy ensures your efforts generate meaningful results. It builds confidence as you see tangible incomes from what the actions are that you're doing. And by focusing on the value and what you're giving, you're not only enhancing your contributions, but you're also creating opportunities for growth and recognition along the way. I often say that when you create value using your gifts and superpowers for others, you're inviting the universe to pay you back. And the universe does have a way of doing that. You have to accept that invitation and start creating and discovering and developing those gifts and superpowers so that you can create that invitation for the universe to pay you back along the way. Now, step 4 is that you're going to build your relationship sphere or ecosystem. I'll use ecosystem. Your relationship ecosystem is a network of the connections that supports and amplifies what your goals are. It's about creating meaningful relationships and developing those meaningful relationships where you can give and receive value authentically. Don't forget about the receive. A lot of times when we try to become givers, we forget or we struggle to be receiving as well. But this isn't just about meeting new people. It's about creating a community of people that you trust and support and have shared purpose with you. And a strong ecosystem enables you to achieve more collectively than you could ever do alone. And so I recommend you start by mapping, maybe what are your current relationships into categories such as, these are people that are mentors or people I look up to. Who are my peers? Who are my mentees that I am teaching? Have influence over. And then look for gaps where new connections could add value. And then develop rituals to strengthen existing bonds, such as, what are those check-ins or the appreciation gestures you could do? And then focus on that reciprocity. Like, how is it that, how is that giving and receiving happening on both ends? And then build connections by offering help or insights before you seek for anything in return. When you give without expecting anything in return, gosh, things just happen to come back to you. That's what we talked about with the last one. This sort of idea, it creates that trust and mutual respect, creating a foundation for collaboration. And so, chart that network. Identify who has different strengths and where are your gaps. Look for maybe activities that you could do to maintain and deepen specific relationships. Create those appreciation and gratitude practices as a habit through notes or acts of kindness, and then review as always. Now, it matters because a strong network amplifies your impact, and it provides you support and feedback and new opportunities, and it creates that massive ripple effect that I talk about so often, where your gifts, your influence, it has such a greater impact on others, who then pass that value on to others. Relationships are the cornerstone of lasting success and fulfillment. Now, step 5 in this process is to create, I already talked about creating systems. And so you want to create these momentum systems that are structured routines and habits that you consistently, that keep you consistently progressing towards your goals. Systems and processes help keep us, where we have something to lean back on. These systems help you turn ambition into action and create a rhythm of regular and intentional effort, rather than relying on just willpower or motivation, which can vary day to day, week to week, month to month. Momentum systems provide you a framework that creates that sustainable progress forward. And they, help you to build momentum through small and consistent steps that accumulate into significant achievements over time, not just focusing on big one-time grand gestures that you could do. And so start by identifying the most productive times of your day and aligning your high-impact tasks with those periods. I love to wake up early in the morning, get into the office super early. It's already 7 a.m. here, and I've already been here for 2.5 hours. But I get the most work done, and I have the most success when it comes to just heads down work early in the morning, so that I can then free up time to have conversations with clients in the afternoon. I know others that are very much that way. They know that they can't do any sort of calls with people before a certain time of the day because they haven't switched into that proper brain space to do what they need. And so what you look for is you look to build routines around these sort of moments to ensure that you're working at your best. Introduce rituals like morning planning sessions or weekly reviews to stay on track. These sort of rituals, like any of these, they don't have to be complex. They just need to be consistent and focus on the actions that matter most to you. And so I would recommend you create this ideal week, sort of a template, and design a weekly schedule that prioritizes the most important tasks during your peak productive hours. And then think of what those daily success routines are in the morning or evening rituals that set intentions and review progress and plan what the actions are going to be for the next day. And then, of course, weekly reviews and planning where you dedicate time to review what your accomplishments are, pat yourself on the back, even no matter how small those accomplishments are, assessing what challenges you had and how you can address them, and then setting your priorities for the next week ahead. And then, of course, progress metrics to help you develop and track your daily and weekly progress, such as, completed tasks or milestones you've achieved. Now, you could also go to thegivermethod.com/journals. And I actually have a daily journal and a weekly reflection worksheet. So you could print out as many of those daily journals and weekly reflections that you want, and it will help keep you on track for those sort of things as well. So that's thegivermethod.com/journals. Now, momentum systems transform your ambition into consistent progress. They help you stay focused and avoid overwhelm by breaking down big goals into more manageable steps. With the right systems in place, you maintain forward motion even when, motivation can wane from time to time. It ensures steady progress towards your vision. Now, step 6 is going to be to establish what are your growth accelerators that help you to target opportunities to expand your capacity and refine your gifts and superpowers. These could be learning experiences or skill building initiatives or environments that just challenge you to grow. This sort of idea focuses on what's the exponential improvements that we can make. By investing in areas where you are already strong, you can create breakthroughs that enhance your impact and open the doors to new opportunities that you maybe have not seen are there. So you can identify the skills or knowledge areas that you have, and then when developed will significantly enhance your ability to create more impact. And then focus on building depth in these areas aligned with your gifts and superpowers rather than trying to fix weaknesses that don't align with your core strengths. Pursue growth opportunities such as courses or mentorships. Like I said, that's why we have mentorship programs in a community or immersive projects. You can learn about some of those on thegivermethod.com. But you want to create growth experiments to test ways of applying your skills and using feedback and reflection to refine your approach. And so you create that personal development plan. What's that skills building project you could get into? Maybe mentors that you maybe create a mentorship network of people you can go to receive feedback on what there could be. So you can identify those blind spots and refine your skills. Strategic growth is focused on your strengths, and it leads you towards just so much greater improvement. It enables you to achieve more with less effort by deepening your expertise in the areas that just come naturally to you. And so growth accelerators ensure that you're consistently evolving and expanding your capacity to create really big impact. Now, our 7th step is, think about it from the legacy. So you have to implement legacy actions, thinking about the big long term. Legacy actions are the deliberate steps that ensure your impact extends beyond whatever the immediate efforts are. What's the long-term effect? They focus on creating systems or projects or influences that contribute and benefit others, even when you're no longer directly involved with them. Legacy isn't about ego in any way. It's about creating sustainable contributions that inspires and empowers others. It's a way to multiply your gifts and embed them in the initiatives that outlast you. So think about creating legacy mapping, where you identify the areas where your gifts could create lasting impact. And then think about how your talents could be shared or scaled to benefit others on a broader scale, and develop these legacy enablers or vehicles, such as, it could be education resources, mentor programs, replicatable processes that you could teach people. These sort of, legacy vehicles enhance your contributions, and continue to grow and reach new people over time. Legacy thinking, it ensures that your efforts have an enduring impact, and not just the one-time flash pan effect. By creating systems and influences that continue to serve others, you multiply the value of your gifts and inspire others to discover and share their own. It's an extremely powerful way to create meaningful and lasting change for others. And then, of course, the 8th step, because I told you there was 8, is to measure and amplify your impact. You have to measure and amplify your impact, and that involves assessing the results of your efforts and finding the ways to scale what works. It's about understanding the ripple effect of your contributions and then making intentional choices to extend their reach. It's not just about numbers, of course. It's about identifying the meaningful outcomes and ensuring your energy is focused where it creates the most value, so that it amplifies, the meaning and builds on the success to create even greater positive change. So start by creating what's your impact, report, dashboard, the thing that you use to track the key metrics, such as the number of people served, feedback that you've received, specific milestones you achieved, and then combine this with, the qualitative insights such as personal stories or testimonials, to understand the deeper effects of your contributions, and then develop strategies to amplify your most successful actions. This might include teaching others your methods, collaborating with like-minded individuals, or scaling your initiatives to reach more people. And then there's always that ability to, how do you want to track it? Google Sheets or a Google Doc. It could be, a journal. Just make sure that you're writing down both those quantitative and qualitative results. Dedicate time each month where you analyze what's working well and identify areas where you can improve, and then develop the plans for scaling your efforts. And then, of course, we're getting right ahead into 2025, and this whole thing is about creating that impact plan. But each year, you should be summarizing your progress and key learnings at the end of the year, and that should help drive forward what your future goals are going to be. And so, when you measure and amplify your impact, it ensures that your efforts are effective and sustainable. It helps you focus on what creates the real value for others and avoiding wasted energy on the less impactful items. And by scaling your contributions, you amplify the positive, difference you make, inspiring others to create lasting change within their lives. This idea of your 2025, impact action plan isn't just about setting goals. It's about aligning your natural gifts and superpowers with meaningful impact. And when you follow the steps, that we just talked about, you leverage the Giver Method, especially things that are in the Giver Method book that we didn't have time to cover today, extraordinary results become not just possible, but natural part of what you do. So start today by identifying, what's the one gift or superpower that you want to share? What's that one goal you could pursue, maybe even this week? And then choose one step to implement it. Take the time to do something this week towards it, and notice how aligning your actions with your gifts and superpowers creates that natural momentum towards your goals. And remember, your actions have the power to just inspire change, not just in yourself, but everyone around you. And of course, remember, go to Amazon.com, get the Giver Method book. It is your complete guide to discovering and leveraging your gifts and superpowers and creating maximum impact and having deeper, more meaningful relationships and more fulfillment in your life. Now, if this video resonated with you, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with someone that may need to hear it. Leave a comment on maybe which step you're going to go and implement first. You can go find us right now. Is the time to go find us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, all those places, and follow us there so you get more insights, or go to thegivermethod.com, because the video is now wrapping up. And so until next time, I just invite you to keep growing and keep giving, and remember that your gifts and superpowers are the key to an extraordinary impact that you can make in 2025. And so go ahead and create that plan and start putting the wheels into motion today, so that as you get into January, as you get into February, as you start progressing more and more through the year, you're going to see how much of a change and that ripple effect it's had on not only yourself, but those in your life and your sphere of influence, and start to see how that extends even beyond your sphere of influence, so that you can truly become an impact maker on top of becoming a giver. And so until next time, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will catch you in the next video.